Welcome to Dolphin Dive Daily, your go-to spot for everything Miami Dolphins. If you bleed aqua and orange, hit that subscribe button and join the pod. Jalen Waddle, one of the Miami Dolphins' most electric offensive weapons in recent years, took a moment of raw honesty during the team's off-season activities, reflecting on a disappointing 2024 campaign that saw a noticeable dip in his production. The Dolphins, under head coach Mike McDaniel, had playoff aspirations after back-to-back postseason appearances, but instead stumbled to an 8-9 finish and missed out on January football altogether. Waddle, known for his blazing speed and sharp route running, wasn't immune to the team's struggles. His stats fell off a cliff compared to his previous seasons, totaling just 744 receiving yards, 58 catches, and a meager 2 touchdowns. It was a stark contrast to the Jalen Waddle fans had grown accustomed to watching. He admitted publicly that he simply wasn't at his best last season and has taken accountability for that downturn. At just 26 years old, Waddle still has plenty of time to bounce back and rewrite the narrative. During a recent minicamp held at Hard Rock Stadium, Waddle opened up about what went wrong for him individually in 2024. Speaking candidly to ESPN's Marcel Louis-Jacques, the former Alabama standout acknowledged that the season definitely was the year that I didn't want as an individual. What's telling about Waddle's reflection is that he wasn't vague or deflective. He pointed directly to flaws in his game that need correction. After watching the film, definitely a lot of hand-eye coordination, Waddle said. Feel like I'm trying to move without the ball too much. That admission gives a glimpse into the subtle but critical details that can derail even a top-tier wide receiver in the NFL. It wasn't just about physicality or scheme. It was the fundamentals, the little things, the timing and flow of his routes that seemed off throughout the year. Waddle's words weren't just self-critical, they were constructive. It's rare in the NFL to hear such transparent self-evaluation from a player of Waddle's caliber, and it signals a maturity that bodes well for both him and the Dolphins. Heading into 2025, not only did he assess his need to clean up timing and get smoother in and out of routes, but he also implied a need to recalibrate mentally. In an offense designed for speed and space, where timing is everything, the margin for error is razor thin. Waddle's acknowledgement of trying to move without the ball suggests he may have been pressing, trying to make plays before securing catches, or rushing through route breaks to create separation that wasn't materializing as it once did. These are correctable flaws, but only if the player is willing to put in the detailed work. With Waddle, that willingness seems firmly in place. He appears locked in, aware of the issues, and fully engaged in the process of regaining his elite form. The Dolphins' offense, which had once been one of the most feared in the league, faltered in 2024 despite having names like Waddle and Tyreek Hill on the outside. Averaging just 20.3 points per game and ranking 22nd in the NFL in that category, Miami's attack simply didn't strike the same level of fear in opposing defenses. Part of that, of course, was the inconsistent availability of quarterback Tua Tagovailoa, whose health continues to be a recurring concern. But even when Tua was on the field, the Dolphins weren't getting the same explosive plays from Waddle. His targets dropped to just 83 on the season, a steep decline for someone who was once a central figure in the team's passing game. The chemistry between Tua and Waddle, forged back at Alabama, seemed out of sync. For Miami to get back to the playoffs in 2025, rekindling that connection is going to be essential. Now, the spotlight shifts to what comes next. Waddle, entering his 5th NFL season, has a prime opportunity to reset the narrative and return to being one of the league's most dangerous receivers. His speed hasn't vanished. His athleticism remains elite. And with a healthy offseason to focus on mechanics and timing, there's every reason to believe 2024 was an outlier rather than the beginning of a decline. The Dolphins are counting on it. With defenses focused on slowing down Tyreek Hill, Waddle should have favorable matchups, especially if he can polish his route running and restore trust with his quarterback. Training camp will be crucial, not just for Waddle, but for the entire offensive unit to reestablish rhythm and confidence. If the chemistry returns and the mental miscues are corrected, the Dolphins' offense could once again be one of the most dynamic in the league. One of the unique aspects of Waddle's game is how much he relies on precision and body control, traits that make him more than just a burner. His ability to shift direction fluidly and explode out of cuts is what separates him from more one-dimensional speedsters. That's why his self-assessment about timing and hand-eye coordination is so revealing. These aren't issues you fix. With more time in the weight room, they require drills, focus, repetition, and above all, patience. Waddle knows that and seems committed to addressing the root of the problem rather than just the symptoms. In a league where wide receivers often demand more targets or shift blame toward quarterbacks and play callers, Waddle's self-awareness is refreshing. It shows leadership, humility, and hunger, all qualities that will be crucial if he's going to bounce back in 2025 and help Miami return to postseason relevance. Coach Mike McDaniel also has a role to play here. Known for his offensive creativity and ability to put players in advantageous situations, McDaniel will be tasked with designing ways to get Waddle more involved early and often. The 2024 season saw Miami's offense become stagnant at times, unable to adapt when big plays weren't there. By focusing more on intermediate routes and timing-based concepts, McDaniel can help Waddle reestablish rhythm and become a consistent chain mover again. This may also involve tweaks in how Waddle is used, perhaps motioning him pre-snap to get free releases or isolating him against lesser corners. Whatever the plan, it's clear that Waddle remains a central figure in McDaniel's vision. His slump hasn't changed that. If anything, it's reinforced how important he is to Miami's offensive success. The 2025 season won't be easy for the Dolphins. The AFC East remains a competitive division, with the Buffalo Bills still formidable and the New York Jets reloaded. With a healthy Aaron Rodgers, but a rejuvenated Waddle gives Miami a puncher's chance. Opposing defenses won't be able to key in solely on Tyreek Hill if Waddle is back to full strength. His speed forces safeties to respect the deep ball. His route running can break open zones, and his chemistry with Tua, once reestablished, can be deadly in crunch time moments. Miami needs every bit of that in what's expected to be a tight playoff race. Waddle isn't just playing to prove doubters wrong. He's trying to reclaim a place among the NFL's top receivers, a tier he unquestionably belonged to during his first 3 seasons. Off the field, Waddle's accountability also speaks volumes about his leadership trajectory. He's no longer just a young rising star. He's a veteran presence in the locker room now, someone the younger receivers look up to. That role comes with added pressure, but also with influence. When a player like Waddle admits publicly to his shortcomings and then works visibly to correct them, it sets a tone. It creates a culture of ownership and work ethic, something that McDaniel and the Dolphins staff are undoubtedly trying to cultivate. Waddle embracing that role may be just as important as the yards and touchdowns. Teams that bounce back after disappointing years often have internal leadership that refuses to accept mediocrity. Jalen Waddle is sounding like that kind of leader now, and it could make all the difference for Miami's 2025 campaign. As training camp approaches, all eyes will be on how Waddle performs in drills, how crisp his routes look, and how frequently he connects with Tua in live reps. The work he puts in now will shape what kind of season he has come September. And if his words are any indication, fans should expect a different version of Jalen Waddle in 2025. More focused, more refined, and more determined than ever before. It's rare for a young star to experience a statistical dip and respond. Not with excuses, but with introspection and clear action steps. But that's exactly what Waddle has done. The road back to 1,000 yards won't be easy, but it's well within reach. And if he gets there, with better hands, smoother timing, and the fire of a comeback season, it could be the spark that reignites the Dolphins' offense and brings playoff football back to Miami. Still with us? Then show some love. Hit that like button and let us know in the comments. What's your take on the Fins this week? In a stunning turn of events that has sent shockwaves throughout the NFL landscape, Whispers and rumors are swirling around the possibility that Patrick Mahomes, the Kansas City Chiefs superstar quarterback, has requested a trade to the Miami Dolphins. Sources close to the situation suggest that Mahomes, who has been the face of the Chiefs offense for years and led them to multiple playoff appearances, including a Super Bowl victory, may be looking for a fresh start in a new city. The news first broke through a low-key report that quickly gained traction on social media, leaving fans and analysts alike scrambling to make sense of his potential blockbuster move. The implications are enormous, not only for Mahomes' career, but for the Chiefs franchise and the Dolphins' ambitions. Could this be the dawn of a new era in Miami, or just another dramatic rumor that will fizzle out? If this trade rumor proves true, the NFL could be on the cusp of one of the most dramatic shifts in quarterback power in recent memory. Mahomes, widely regarded as one of the most talented and exciting players in the league, would bring an electrifying presence to the Dolphins, who have been hungry to make a splash and finally return to playoff contention. Miami's offensive weapons, including wide receivers and a solid offensive line, might be exactly what Mahomes needs to elevate his game to even greater heights. On the other hand, the Chiefs would face the daunting task of rebuilding their offense without their franchise quarterback, a challenge that could alter the team's trajectory for years to come. The possibility of Mahomes in a Dolphins uniform has fans dreaming big, envisioning what could be an explosive offense led by one of the game's brightest stars. Speculation about why Mahomes would seek a trade at this point in his career is fueling endless debate. Some insiders suggest there may be friction behind the scenes in Kansas City, whether it's disagreements with the coaching staff or dissatisfaction with the team's direction. Others point to Mahomes' desire for a new challenge or a change of scenery after years in the same system. Miami, with its sunny weather and vibrant fan base, offers a tantalizing destination for a player of Mahomes' caliber. Of course, this is all speculative, and no official statements have been made by the player, the Chiefs, or the Dolphins yet. But the buzz around this possible trade is enough to keep NFL fans glued to their screens, eagerly awaiting confirmation or denial of these explosive claims. From a strategic perspective, the Dolphins acquiring Mahomes would instantly transform their offense into one of the most feared in the league. Mahomes' ability to extend plays, his deep ball accuracy, and his leadership skills would unlock Miami's potential in ways few quarterbacks can. The Dolphins have been building a strong supporting cast, and adding a top-tier quarterback could finally be the missing piece. However, the financial and draft pick costs of acquiring a player like Mahomes would be astronomical. Miami's front office would need to make tough decisions regarding their salary cap and roster depth. This adds another layer of complexity to the rumored deal, suggesting that if a trade does happen, it might involve multiple first-round draft picks or key players heading to Kansas City in return. The Chiefs, on the other hand, would face a monumental challenge in replacing Mahomes. The quarterback has been the cornerstone of their offense since entering the league, and finding a suitable successor would not be easy. Speculation is already rife about who might fill that void, whether the Chiefs would promote a backup, look for a trade themselves, or target a top quarterback prospect in the draft. The departure of Mahomes could signal a rebuild phase for Kansas City, impacting their competitiveness in the AFC West and the broader league. Fans who have grown accustomed to thrilling games led by Mahomes' dynamic play would undoubtedly feel the sting of losing their star, adding emotional weight to the potential move. Media outlets and NFL analysts are poring over every detail of this developing story, attempting to parse fact from fiction. Interviews with insiders and former players suggest that while trade requests from quarterbacks of Mahomes' stature are rare, they are not unheard of. If there are any cracks in the relationship between Mahomes and the Chiefs, this could be an unprecedented move to shake things up. Meanwhile, Dolphins fans have taken to social media to express their excitement and hope, flooding forums and comment sections with predictions about how Mahomes would fit into their team's identity. The speculation is at a fever pitch, with no shortage of hot takes and passionate opinions swirling around this potential blockbuster trade. Adding to the intrigue is the timing of this rumor, which emerges at a critical juncture in the NFL offseason. Teams are actively planning their draft strategies, negotiating contracts, and trying to set the stage for their upcoming season. A trade involving Mahomes would upend many of these plans, forcing both the Chiefs and Dolphins to pivot rapidly. The ripple effects could extend beyond these two franchises, affecting the entire AFC landscape as teams recalibrate to face new threats and opportunities. This rumor, whether it materializes or not, highlights the high-stakes chess match that is NFL roster management and the profound impact a single player's decision can have across the league. Of course, there are voices of skepticism too, reminding fans and media alike to temper their expectations. Trades involving superstar quarterbacks are notoriously complicated and rarely happen without months of negotiation and behind-the-scenes maneuvering. Some experts caution that this could simply be a negotiation tactic or a leak intended to test the market value of Mahomes. The Chiefs' management has historically been measured and loyal to their star players, which might make this deal less likely than the hype suggests. Still, the fact that such a rumor exists at all is enough to keep the conversation alive and fans on the edge of their seats. In the NFL, nothing is ever off the table until it's officially confirmed, beyond the immediate impact on the teams involved. The broader NFL community is also watching closely to see how this situation unfolds. Players, coaches, and executives know that Mahomes' potential move could reshape the competitive balance of the league. For younger quarterbacks, it serves as a reminder of the power they hold, and for veteran players, a testament to the evolving nature of player-team relationships. The ripple effects could influence contract negotiations, player loyalty, and how franchises approach star athletes in the future. In this light, the Mahomes trade rumor transcends a simple team switch. It's a moment that could redefine the NFL's player dynamics for years to come. As the days pass and the rumor mill churns, fans will undoubtedly continue to speculate, analyze, and debate every possible outcome. Will Patrick Mahomes really don a Dolphins jersey? Could the Chiefs survive without their MVP quarterback? And what does this mean for the broader NFL playoff picture? Until an official announcement is made, all eyes remain glued to every development, tweet, and insider report. One thing is certain, whether fact or fiction, the mere suggestion of Mahomes heading to Miami has ignited one of the most electric discussions in recent NFL history, reminding us all why football is not just a game, but a spectacle filled with endless surprises and drama. That's a wrap for today's dive. If you're loving the content, share it with a fellow Dolphins fan, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a splash. Fins up!